Power systems, a core part of any typical battle shonen. When it comes to said power systems, these are the very foundations of fights in any series that relies on them. Alongside things like choreography and art quality, it's very arguable that the power system of a verse determines just how intricate and well put together fights in the series can be. Series like Bleach, Naruto, and the biggest example being Hunter x Hunter are series that greatly benefit from a well put together power system. And the newest example of an outstanding power system is Jujutsu Kaisen's Cursed Energy. So in this video, I'm going to be explaining to you why not only Jujutsu Kaisen is only the best power system out right now, but why it also rivals several of the best power systems in the genre, period. So let's dive right into it. Now, when assessing a battle shonen's power system, there are several things that define its quality: versatility, simplicity, potential depth, cool factor, and finally, thematic resonance. If you are able to check all of these boxes for your power system, you are guaranteed to be well received by just about any audience. And Jujutsu Kaisen not only fulfills the bare minimum, but completely blows all of these categories out of the water. Take its simplicity, for example. At its core, Cursed Energy is an amazingly simple concept. Negative emotions such as fear, anguish, etc., are the fuel for Cursed Energy. The more Cursed Energy you have, the more insane, powerful techniques you are able to pull off. This is a base for a power system, and it is very simple and digestible at face value. The only caveat to this is that uncontrolled, rampaging fear, anger, or any other negative emotion can result in the opposite effect, as stated by Aototo in a manga arc exclusively as of right now. Meaning that Cursed Energy as a power system is able to avoid a failing of a power system like Ki, for example, which does benefit from pure rage and can kind of fall into the trope of being able to just power up by screaming and getting angry at whatever happens. This, while remaining simple, is able to be very detailed in its explanation. It's not overly complicated and it's not convoluted in any way, shape, or form. As soon as it is explained in the series, the reader should be able to very easily grasp the general concept of the power system, which is necessary in order for the power system to dive deeper into its complexities and intricacies. Without a core understanding of the power system, the audience would not be able to enjoy the creativity that the mangaka would employ throughout the series and would leave them with a hollow feeling whenever new abilities show up. Throughout the entire series, it is clear what the actual base for these amazing powers are. Whenever Yuji is able to channel and control these negative emotions, his capabilities within any fight increase exponentially. In his fight versus Choso, we see this specifically stated by Yuji and through Gege Akutami, essentially. I now understand my role. Turn fear into Cursed Energy and clear my mind of all distractions. For the sake of Fushiguro, Kugisaki, Nanamin, and all my upperclassmen, I have to make sure they can get through here to Gojo-sensei. Even if it means dying, I'm going to take him down. For context, this scene, in quote, takes place after Yuji had just had his liver shot by an attack from an opponent basically equally as strong as him. Yuji, however, is able to take advantage of the fear of death, as well as his newfound calm demeanor to actually grow mid-battle. This scene does not feel like an ass pull or some plot device to the reader, and actually feels fulfilling because the scene is based off of previously established simple rules in the power system. Like I've said multiple times, this is very important. One of the least satisfying things that a battle shonen can do is let a character win based off of a misunderstanding or not previously established rule. This is why scenes like Gon sacrificing his Nen in order to reach his true potential instantaneously works better in the series of Hunter x Hunter than Ichigo somewhat randomly developing the Vasto Lorde within him to defeat Ukiura. One of these was based off of established, simple rules. Nen contracts and sacrifices can increase one's power by a ridiculous amount, while the other one came seemingly out of nowhere and had no basis on the information that we already had. This simplicity of established rules acts as the foundation for the next two major aspects of a great power system: potential depth and versatility. The reason power systems like Nen are so beloved over things that have just simplicity like Dragon Ball is because where Dragon Ball is simple, it doesn't use its simplicity to truly build a more complex and intricate system of power, nor does it use its simplicity to get extremely creative with ki. Hunter x Hunter, on the other hand, is almost the polar opposite, using its basic foundation to uphold some of the craziest, most finely detailed and constructed powers in shonen. And Gege Akutame, using Hunter x Hunter as a little bit of inspiration, is able to accomplish a feat just like this with cursed energy as a power system. The depth in Jujutsu Kaisen's power system comes from several different avenues in the series. For the sheer mass of abilities and possible attacks that one Jujutsu sorcerer can use when combining a curse or another sorcerer is incredible. Let's take a look at someone like Gojo. His infinity would give you the impression that he's completely invincible and untouchable due to how haxed it is. This is shown very early on to be false, as we see that there are multiple ways to eliminate the advantage that infinity gives you, even if you are a physically and cursed energy related weaker combatant than Gojo. For one, there are cursed tools in the verse that we know have the ability to completely negate curse techniques upon contact, which does extend to Gojo and his limitless curse techniques. And the much more obvious example being domain expansion, the pinnacle of Jujutsu sorcery, and the ability which has so many different layers and counters to it, as well as ways to interact with this, even though it's such a powerful ability and hard to get each one in depth. To be very concise, extremely concise, domain expansions are things that can clash with other domains to create a sort of territorial battle, if you will. It's just me diving straight into the different counters. You can use cursed energy to block all oncoming attacks, although if you are relative them in battle, this is risky against a domain user. Simple domains, which, while not as potent as a typical domain expansion, allows the user to avoid the instantaneous, unavoidable hits that domain expansions would allow for. Sorcerers like Naobi token use abilities that don't just protect you from those attacks, but actually respond in turn and attacks automatically with your own ability. Domain expansions can also technically be broken out of from within, although it is basically impossible in the words of Gojo Satoru, with domains also being weak to outside attacks due to it being a strange strategy to want to enter a domain that you are able to avoid. This doesn't even truly scratch the surface of the intricate levels of interaction that any curse or sorcerer alike can have if they are skilled enough. In fact, it is these levels of depth that the power system has that allows it to have amazing amount of diversity that Jujutsu Kaisen shows, all without having one ability be too impossibly strong or have an ability that no one can ever counter in the verse. Now, just to give you a little bit of a hint of the massive scope of abilities that Jujutsu Kaisen characters and cursed energy is able to give, let me just list off a few.
Regeneration, flight, teleportation, perception manipulation, mind manipulation, probability manipulation, gravity manipulation, disease manipulation, soul manipulation, poison manipulation, soul hack resistance, poison resistance, spatial manipulation, damage transfer, damage inverse, blood manipulation, durability negation, memory manipulation, invisibility, earth manipulation, fire manipulation, pocket reality manipulation, life absorption manipulation, power mimicry, and death manipulation.
Just to name a few. So we see very clearly that cursed energy has a level of simplicity that is very easy and has a low barrier to entry for people to get into and get a basic understanding of, whether it be the characters that are actually trying to learn the basics of cursed energy or the audience who's trying to get integrated into this power system. It has potential depth, seeing as how the level of interactions that just two characters can have in the verse is almost unexplorable in its entirety. It also has versatility, as I just named you dozens of abilities that is probably limited to 3 or 4 characters. Most of those abilities come from strictly Gojo himself, and other ones come from some other characters, but just to give you the general scope of hacks that this verse has access to, cursed energy and cursed techniques are all what allow those abilities to exist. But there's still 2 more big things that a power system needs in order to be considered a GOAT. One of these criteria is a power system's cool factor. When it comes to the analysis of something's cool factor, things can get really tricky because of the inherent subjectivity of what's cool. For me, seeing something like Madara being able to use his Rinnegan to drop a meteor on thousands of ninjas is cool. And you, well, you may be wrong. So it does become a little bit difficult to determine objective coolness, but I shall do my very best. Cursed energy is a power system that has acted as the foundation to some amazing moments in manga. Take Gojo versus, well, Take Gojo versus anyone, and you have fights that, while usually one-sided in one way or the other, have this air of flashiness and performative feel to them. Whenever Gojo is attacked by an opponent much weaker than him due to his ability, Gojo is able to truly act and put on this nonchalant personality on full display, taunting, joking, and messing around with any character he crosses paths with. Whether you be the king of curses himself, the curse that is evolving at the fastest rate, or any particular curse in general. And when you actually do make Gojo try, when you actually do force Gojo to take off that nonchalant attitude, you get amazing moments where he pushes himself in his domain past his limits, expanding it and retracting it at speeds that have never been shown in the series until then. All of the previous achievements that Cursed Energy has under its belt culminates and allows it to lead to amazingly put together battles. You get confrontations like Mahito versus Nanami, one character whose ability is essentially durability negation versus a character whose physical durability and any damage that is acquired to his physical body in a battle are basically irrelevant. And seeing these two characters try to figure each other out and find out a way they can win this game of really life or death, rock, paper, scissors is super amazing and interesting to me personally, and clearly several other people. And based off the general reception that Jujutsu Kaisen gets, especially when it comes to its fights, manga or anime alike, I'd assume a majority of people agree that it is doing extremely well when it comes to the cool factor of its battles. Finally, the least defined, most important, tricky part of making any power system work, whether that be anime, manga, or any form of fiction. Thematic resonance. No, I'm not just throwing around a big worded phrase that may or may not exist just because I'm a big-brained, high-level thinking individual. No. In my humble opinion, a power system resonating and amplifying the themes that any particular series is going for not only makes a power system well done, but it should make it go down and will go down in history as a well-constructed, nigh flawless system of power. Take Hunter x Hunter's Nen, Fullmetal Alchemist's Alchemy, or JoJo's Bizarre Adventure's Stands, for example. These are some of the most well-respected and well-liked power systems in the medium. And a power system that I am now making the case need to be recognized as standing on equal footing with them is Cursed Energy. For all of you that have watched this far into the video and still aren't convinced of this, let me do my best to add all of my stat points to charisma and intelligence for a second, as I do my best to break down the utter genius that I see in this power system. In reality, there are two types of people: those who have self-imposed limits and those who don't. In Jujutsu Kaisen, there are two types of people: those who have self-imposed limits and those who don't. The limitless are strong, powerful, important, influential. The ones with self-imposed limits exist to be subjugated, to dominate, to lose, to die. Cursed Energy serves those who serve themselves. Look, pretentious talk aside for just a quick second, script aside, written down things that I thought sounded smart a couple days ago aside, I'm just going to be very direct with you guys about the message that I get when looking at the series and Cursed Energy as a whole. In Jujutsu Kaisen and in the real world, being normal does not get you anything besides normality, which makes sense when you think about it. But what doesn't occur to some people is that the reason insanely successful people are insanely successful, or in Jujutsu Kaisen's case, insanely powerful, like Mahito or Gojo, is due to them having an insane outlook and perspective on the world. For characters such as these, the world is theirs and everybody else is simply living in it. And for some, this may seem arrogant. For some, this may seem obnoxious. For some, they may need a cold dose of reality. But to me, when I look at Jujutsu Kaisen, when I look at Cursed Energy, this is what stares back. Confidence is power. Insanity is strength. Take that. Take advantage of Cursed Energy. Use it in ways never thought of before. Search for the true depths of your soul, or when all else seems lost, give up on futile resistance and anguish and dive into the realm of concentration beyond which you previously never thought possible. This is Cursed Energy. This is the power system that stands atop the rest with the greats. In a mere 140 some chapters, this power system, no, Cursed Energy, has shown itself to be able to go head to head with some of the greatest in all of anime and manga and set itself apart from the competition. Whew, wow. This was, to be honest, a mixture of exhausting and exhilarating. Being able to put into words why I think Cursed Energy is such a good power system and, just being able to talk about it in video format and really just finally arrange the cluster and just amalgamation of thoughts I've had in my head is, pretty cool. But actually arranging these thoughts was quite the work. And while I didn't mention this earlier in the video because it just wouldn't have flowed well with what I was saying and I didn't want to disrupt the video's flow, don't take the title of this video anally, please, because in all honesty, while I do think a case can be made for, Cursed Energy being just the best power system, and to be honest, out of all the manga and anime I've read, I may make that case from time to time. I by no means am trying to say Cursed Energy is objectively for a fact the best power system. The purpose was to gush about how well put together this system was, as well as place it among the greatest power systems in manga. Where you place it among the Nens, the Alchemies, the Stands of the world doesn't bother me one bit. You can say it's the worst out of the greats, you can say it's the best out of the greats, but really all I wanted to do is put it into that argument of it being a great in and of itself. I can already just see the comments pouring in about how I'm wrong without watching the video in its entirety. But in any case, I really do hope you guys enjoyed this video, put everything I had into it and then some. So if even one person can truly resonate with me on this topic and just I can feel that kind of passion going back and forth, that would be super exciting just because of, I don't know, call me a Jujutsu Kaisen tard, but I've just been, been able to talk about this for a very long time. In any case, if you guys want to see so many more Jujutsu Kaisen analysis videos that I have just in my head and, putting to paper soon, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss out. Links to several, I think 20 plus Jujutsu Kaisen analysis videos will be linked down in the description and in the pinned comments. So go check that out if it suits you. In any case, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And as always, this is Broken Ronin signing off.